In the spirit of this Thanksgiving holiday, I really want to acknowledge the incredible strength and determination and really the amazing cooperation of our people here on Oahu, and for that matter throughout the state in our battle against COVID all these many months. Now, the war against COVID is not over, but these announcements that we're going to make today are about getting on the other side of this dreaded disease. We know that we've protected our most vulnerable in our population. We believe very strongly in our Safe Access program, and we think the time has come now. So in the spirit of this Thanksgiving holiday, while this may not be the ultimate and best moment we anticipated, this is a very fine moment for us, and we're very proud and very grateful to our community that really made this and these announcements we're about to make possible. So first of all, effective at 11:59 on November 30th, really, in all intents and purposes, December 1st, we're lifting the capacity requirement for all large events, whether indoors or outdoors. We're lifting all capacity requirements. All events will also be allowed to serve food and drink. However, if they are going to serve food and drink, we're going to require they continue with the Safe Access program. So we're lifting the capacity on all events, all large events, and we're allowing people to serve food and drink. Secondly, as a result of that, we're going to expand from our last announcement of vax only to vaccine and testing. We think that that's done right. So according to Safe Access Oahu now, if you're a patron and you're not vaccinated, you've got to present a test within 48 hours. We expect workers who are not vaccinated in the back rooms or however they're helping out to be tested weekly. That's ongoing. But we are going to expand attendance to vax and testing. We're also dropping all the requirements for contact tracing. Said another way is you don't have to fill out the forms anymore. We're dropping that. Now, we're going to keep Safe Access Oahu for our gyms and our indoor exercise facilities, but they're going to be able to operate at full capacity. So I'll say that again, because a lot of people have asked me about this. Our gyms and exercise facilities, indoor exercise facilities, can operate at full capacity, but we are going to require mask wearing, given the dynamics of really what goes on when people are working out and sweating and breathing really hard. So that's the only requirement. Gyms can operate at full capacity, but they need to wear a mask. And you know, we worked on this to make it really as simple as possible, and really that's our announcement today. So in anticipation of what I think may be asked, let me just offer that this afternoon the governor is going to have a press conference. We've recommended, and we're very hopeful, that he'll make a statement on the 6-foot distancing in restaurants, because we are allowing restaurants to operate at full capacity and have been, and that also he'll make a decision on the 10 and 25, but we'll hold off till this afternoon. But from the standpoint of what we've just done and what we've just announced, it's because we know that Safe Access Oahu works. We've had nothing but great feedback. We also know that right now in the island of Oahu, of all people, 5+, 80% are fully vaccinated. And we also know that Safe Travels, because we know travels are coming in, has also been working. So we've come to that moment in time where I realize that people may be somewhat anxious, but this is about personal responsibility. It is also about the responsibility of those businesses that engage customers of all kinds, to allow people and to do the right thing by their patrons, to allow people to come and to feel safe in their environments. So we're very excited about this. It comes right in a great time. It's effective December 1st, like I said. Now, I know I might get asked a question about buffets. Buffets are going to be allowed to go on, and anything else. So I don't want to anticipate too much from the media. We worked hard to keep this really simple. So I'll say it again. All large events, whether indoors or outdoors, now can operate without capacity. And we're expecting that that's going to make a big difference in our lives. And they're also going to be allowed to serve food and drink, provided they go along with the Safe Access Oahu program. If you're going to have a large event, let's say it's going to be in a conference room somewhere and there's no food or drink, then mask only. And that should be fine. And we're going to keep mask wearing on all large events, indoors or outdoors, because fundamentally, in talking to everybody, that you know, if you're going to be with a lot of people for a long time, it's probably the most prudent thing to do. So I have a lot of confidence. Look, we're here now at a place in time when everything about this disease now we're on top of. You know, from vaccinations to our hospitalizations, to even our case counts are down. It is the holiday season. I want to say it again. I want to wish everybody a really happy and wonderful Thanksgiving as we begin this holiday season together. We've gone through a lot this past year. It's a time to celebrate and be careful, be responsible. This war is not over, but we're ready to step forward. So with that, I'll answer any questions that anybody might have.
This first question is from Max Rodriguez, KHON2. For how much longer will Safe Access Oahu stick around?
Well, we're going to keep Safe Access Oahu on until we really feel that we've passed anything and everything we have to with respect to COVID. One of the things that we're looking at is not just our own internal metrics here in the state, but I don't want to go off on any tangents, but there's a lot of talk about the potential of a fourth surge. There's also a lot of indication in other places, in Europe especially, where they're having surges. As I said earlier, the war against COVID is not over, but we want to get on the other side of the disease, especially here in Hawaii, and that's why we're making those decisions. But we want to keep a careful eye. And the one thing I should say to everybody, that in the event something goes wrong, we're prepared as a city to be very nimble and to revert back. But right now, our attitude, our efforts, and our desire really is to move us forward here into a closer place of being normal.
From Ashley Mizuo of the Star Advertiser, how long will the city's testing sites continue to operate, and will it be able to keep up with the amount of testing going on with holiday parties, safe access, and other events?
That's a great question, and we're looking at that right now. We expect for at least the foreseeable future we're going to keep up with the testing, but I don't think we can do that indefinitely, and we're going to see what these next few weeks bring as we get deep into the holiday season.
Also from Ashley Mizuo, any idea what the current turnaround time has been for the tests, and will those times hold through the holiday season?
I don't have the idea, but the PCR tests take a little bit longer. We have a lot of rapid testing going on in the market at antigen. I've actually been tested several times this week, and I was surprised at how quickly the rapid testing goes. So, I think we've become very adept at administering tests, but as she just said, as Ashley said, a lot of people are getting tested.
From Kristen Concilio, KITV. So you were recommending that the Gov lift the 6-foot distancing rule for restaurants, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And are you expecting a surge after the holidays?
I want to stay very positive. We're not expecting a surge. I think if we were actually expecting a surge, we wouldn't be making these announcements today. All throughout, we've maintained as our number one priority the safety and well-being of our people. So I want to emphasize right now, this decision was not made. This is not a political decision. We made this decision in consultation with all the top medical people in the state, and even, quite honestly, elsewhere. We're in a really good place. I want to go back and say it again. And the reason why we are, fundamentally, is because the people of our island, of our state, have been amazingly cooperative. And that's why I want to acknowledge the cooperation, their strength, and their determination. I'm so proud of how our people have fought against this disease. And you can see it. You can see it in our numbers. You can see it just walking down the street. So we need to keep that up. We need to continue to be careful, be responsible, care for each other. Let's go forward with concern, because anything can happen. We learned that back in July. But let's also go forward knowing that we've had a lot of people vaccinated, and we feel good about that.
This next one is from Christina Judge, our Civil Beat. Is there a threshold that cases could hit that would trigger returning to restrictions?
I don't think it's a threshold of cases. I think we're going to look at a lot of different things, but clearly, first and foremost, will be the hospitalizations, which is where we were focused before, and then there will be other indications as well. I mean, look, we're looking beyond our own shores, as I just said a moment ago, with respect to how this disease is behaving in light of the potential of a fourth surge, if you will. But we wouldn't be making this announcement today if we really felt that that was imminent or even really going to happen.
Christina also wants to know when you will be holding in-person press conferences again.
Well, she could have come here this morning, No, I think as soon as it's okay, I would imagine that with these announcements here, where we're lifting all requirements for indoor and outdoor, that our next press conference will all be able to be together.
Rick Daysog wants to know if you think the state should have eased the 6-foot distancing requirement for restaurants earlier, given there have been so few clusters associated with restaurants since Safe Access Oahu was in?
Look, I'm very pleased and very proud of the fact that we've not had any clusters in restaurants. I go back to our Safe Access Oahu program. That worked, and that worked effectively. But what I'm not going to do today is second-guess the governor. That was his decision. It's up to him to change that ruling. I've talked to a number of restaurants, most recently, even last night, the Restaurant Association. They've been able to get by, but the truth of the matter is we have a lot of other restaurants that need to open up, get back, hire people, have people go out and have dinner there, smaller restaurants. Really, so much of that is the fabric of our lives, the fabric of our neighborhoods, and we want to give license to that because they simply didn't have the square footage to accommodate that kind of request. So that's what this brings about, and I'm very excited that it's about to happen.
Also from Rick, if you think the state should ease or lift the state's Safe Travels program.
Well, I'm not going to comment again on the Governor's Safe Travels program, but we know that Safe Travels is working. I was told yesterday in a meeting with John DeFries from HTA that it looks like we'll actually hit 6.7 million visitors this year, despite everything we've gone through with COVID. And right now, the airline bookings for the months of November, December, and January, as far as seat capacity, as I understand it, is actually greater than it was pre-COVID in 2019. Hawaii remains an iconic spot on this earth. We all know, for those of us who are privileged to live here, that people really want to visit. And people have been locked up, they've been cooped up, and we expect people to come. So I think we want to keep ourselves safe, and we know that Safe Travels works, just like we know Safe Access Oahu works. We want to keep these good practices in place.
Stephanie at PBN, have you spoken to the governor about these changes? And if so, what has he had to say to you about them?
Well, I have spoken to the governor. I spoke to him last week one-on-one. We spoke again yesterday, but this is in his emergency proclamation. I don't want to speak for him. I'm just very hopeful. As I saw him this morning on several news shows today talking about the easing of restrictions, I'm fully expecting that that's what's going to happen. Are there any other questions?
Looks like that's it, Mayor.
That's it. So again, look, we've kept this as simple as possible because we want everybody to be clear in their understanding of what we're asking. But really, this is not about restrictions. This is about celebrating here a moment in time that we've all worked hard to get to as the holidays approach here. So I really want to make sure that everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving. I want to wish you that in the most sincere way. I want to also go back once again and thank you for your strength, for your determination, for your amazing cooperation to bring us to this moment in time. Again, the war on COVID is not over, but we move forward, we get past, we go to the other side of this dreaded disease. I thank you all for everything you've done to make today possible, and let's enjoy the holidays.